will want a strap. Oh, let me do this. If you're joining at home, you're going to want a strap. You can use, if you don't have a yoga strap, you can use a scarf, you can use a belt, you can use a towel, whatever works. You can use your hands, I'll show. And then maybe a block or two if you're tighter. And whatever's going to feel comfortable and supportive for the Nidra portion. And if you're at home, you can do this in bed, the Nidra portion. So wherever you're going to be most comfortable. All right, look at this beautiful new and familiar faces to start. I mean, we started the new year, but it kind of feels like it's really starting now that we had that new moon on Saturday. And in a lot of traditions, the Celtic tradition, Chinese New Year, the new moon is the start of the new year, right? It's the start of a new cycle. And I wanted to share this. This is from a book about Krishnamacharya, who is kind of like the grandfather of modern yoga, of what we practice in the States for the most part, most of the traditions. And this part, this is actually his son who wrote it, who was also a yoga teacher. He talks about the idea of yoga as a progression into the new. And he says in the ancient tradition, the ancient meaning of progression or new, it means to move from one situation to another, to understand what I have not understood, or to gain that which I lack. And I think that's such a nice and beautiful way to think of new. And it's different from, what we often have in our culture of like, get like, lose 5 pounds, go to the gym every day, like all that rah, 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 which can be helpful in certain ways. But I want to just pose and invite you to think about that idea of new. You might even close your eyes right now as we arrive. And just let your body land here by feeling your seat on the mat, feeling how you're meeting whatever you're sitting on. And feel your spine lengthening upward. And then feel your breath. And see if you can allow space for your breath so that your belly moves with the inhale and the exhale. There's an expansion on the inhale. There's a slight contraction on each exhale. And you might just notice how you are arriving in this very moment. You can notice physically how you're arriving, if you're comfortable, if it's easy to find a sense of ease, or if it's challenging. You might notice if your mind is just going nonstop, if it's hard to take in my words, hard to find a little bit of even awareness, or even hard to follow the breath. And then just thinking about this definition, maybe a particular area in your life comes up, but this idea of moving from one situation to another, or to understand what I've not understood. Okay, those areas where maybe we feel like we're hitting a wall, we're repeating the same patterns. And in just inviting with curiosity that question, what haven't I understood here? And you might not know exactly, but maybe you start to know where there's some misunderstanding, or to gain that which I lack. And then just staying with your breath. And maybe there is an area where you really are wanting to invite in something new. Maybe you're not sure. That's okay. If you can just welcome yourself here, however you're arriving, wherever your body is right now, whatever background you have in yoga. wherever your mind is right now. Inviting it all in. And then you can slowly blink your eyes open. And we're going to grab our straps and come lying on the back. And so you can move your other props aside right now. Aside from the blanket, there's a chance that when you come lying down, you'll want to place your blanket under your head just for a little bit of support. And the way you know if you need that support is if you come lying down and your chin really tilts up, creating this big arch in the back of the neck. Placing a little blanket or maybe even a little bit more of a folded blanket under the head can just create this length in the neck. Doesn't have to be a straight neck. You want a little bit of curve, but a little more spaciousness. Right? And then just extend your legs out straight. See how that feels right now. Taking a breath. It might feel good. It might feel, you might notice where there's some tightness showing up. And then you can bend your knees again. And we're going to grab our strap, if you've got a strap. And you're going to take it around the ball of your left foot and extend the left leg straight to the ceiling. And if your leg doesn't come straight to the ceiling, sometimes it's hard to see at this angle. Move your leg forward a little bit. See if you can really reach through your heel if you're not sure if it's straight. So forward toward or away from your face, like you're backing out of the shape a little bit. That'll help you find a little more length. And then with these ends of the strap, you can wrap the ends around your hand. So your hands are held in place by the strap. If you don't have a strap or anything, you can just use your hands at the back of the leg. Okay, and then from here, with your next exhale, you're going to bend that left knee into the chest. Bend it all the way in. And then inhale, re-extend that leg straight. We're going to do that 3 more times. Slow exhale out the nose, bending the knee in. Slow inhale through the nose, extending. Okay. And you're trying to pace your breath to that movement of the leg. And then the 4th round, you'll extend your leg. Keep it extended this time. Really try to reach through your heel, but feel that your pelvis, especially the left side, is heavy, that it's not really lifting away from the floor or anything. And then if you feel more flexible, if you know your leg is straight, you might extend that right leg straight ahead on the mat. And breathing here, just feel into where things feel a little bit restricted or tight in the body. And see if you can bring your attention to those areas. And as you do, bring your breath there. So still breathing in and out the nose. And not trying to move past that resistance. Instead, meet it with breath. Meet it with your own awareness of it. And in these shapes in Yin, if you're new to Yin, I know a couple of you are, we stay here about 2 to 5 minutes. I'm not going to be here 5 minutes for this one. And the challenge often is not to do more. Right? We get into the shape and then we let the shape work us rather than trying to force our bodies deeper. So the challenge becomes to do less and to really meet ourselves where we are. without trying to be somewhere else, which maybe seems counter to that idea of newness, of progression. Another couple breaths here. And then from here, you're going to bend that right knee again. So the left foot stays where it is. Bend the right knee if you straightened it. Turn your right toes out. So they're just turning out a little bit, turning like they're facing the right shoulder. Sorry, the left shoulder, left leg out. And then you're going to bring that right knee into the chest. Just let it hang out. It's just hugged into the chest. Okay. Now start to move your left foot toward the left shoulder. Keep your left leg straight and try to move the left foot toward the left shoulder. The right knee is into the chest. So the right foot lifts off the ground, that's it. And you move that left foot toward the left shoulder. So even just outside that left shoulder. Okay, so get into this really tight part of the hamstring. Okay, breathe here, meet that resistance where it shows up. Don't try to force yourself past it. But stay with your breath here. And think about meeting ourselves where we are is that we're constantly changing. Life is constantly changing. So as we keep meeting ourselves where we are changes, right? What we notice more. And as you stay here in this position, at some point, you might feel this release in that hamstring. You might even feel it into the belly area a little bit. You might feel your breath shift. Notice if there's anywhere you're grasping right now in the fingers, in the jaw. In the mind. Another couple breaths here. And then you can lower that right foot down to the mat again. So the knee is bent, foot's on the mat. You're going to bring your left leg back to center, still extended. We're going to either keep that right knee bent or extend it straight. Bring both ends of the strap into the right hand. Take your thumb, your left hand thumb and hand right into the hip crease on that left side. And just gently press the left thigh away from you, away from the hip, away from the belly, right? And then start to move the foot over to the right, but just slightly. You're going to get into this deep pocket of tension, right? So you move the foot toward the right. It might cross over the hip, but the pelvis stays heavy. And then if you want to add a little bit more to this, you can turn your ankle on its side. So the sole of your foot is facing the right side of the room. Keep this left hip heavy to the mat. So if this left hip is lifting off the mat, you've gone too far, right? Keep pressing the thigh gently away and bring your breath into where things feel intense. That's it. So you can move this thigh back a little bit. So straighten this leg, I would say. And just a little more, okay? Move this thigh back a little bit. Now you're going to move it that way. You can take your hand right to the outside and right here, press forward. Yeah. Breathing another couple breaths. And then bring your leg back to center, lower the leg down, and just extend both legs out again, just like you started. And your legs might come a little bit wider. Just let your eyes close. You might notice if one leg feels longer, if the breath flows differently on one side versus the other. Notice how even your mind is shifting in some way. All right, let's take the second side. So you can bend both knees again, and we'll take the strap around the ball of the right foot, extending that right leg to the ceiling. Again, you can wrap your hands around in the strap so they're held, or if you don't have a strap, hands at the back of the thigh. And then at first, with your exhale, you're going to slowly bend your knee into the chest and inhale, re-extend. Great, 3 more like that. See if you can move at the pace of your breath without rushing the movement, without rushing the breath. And on the 4th round, you'll extend the leg, keep it extended, right? If you know your leg is straight, you're more flexible, your foot's about over your hip or closer to the head, go ahead and extend your left leg straight. Otherwise, you can keep the left knee bent, right? Breathing here. If your hands are around the thigh, you can press the thigh into your hands a bit to find that length. So if you can just bring your attention right to where things feel most intense here. Right? That's often where our mind wants to run from. And see if you can instead bring some breath into that area, just with your attention. And you might notice how bringing your breath and your attention there changes something. Maybe the muscles ease up a little bit. Notice if you're tensing the fingers, the jaw. And then from here, we'll bend the left knee. And then you pick that left knee and foot up, bring it into the chest. So just using the leg, yeah. And you just let it hug into the chest, right? So it can just hang out there. Turn your right toes out toward the right shoulder. And then move that right leg toward the outer right shoulder. It's not going to go far, right? So it's not moving out wide. Instead, it's moving back and a little bit wider. And most of us, right, get stopped by the tension. So see if you can meet that resistance with breath. And just a little bit, turn your toes out. You feel that? Usually when I come around, it all changes, right? So now see if you can bring that leg toward me. Turn the toes out just a little bit. And now start to move it toward the shoulder. Don't worry about how far back it gets because you're probably already feeling it, yeah? So yeah, it's this unique stretch that you can get the right positioning in your leg there's an aha feeling. You feel that? Another few breaths here. Yeah. So intense. Yeah, you know what? You don't have to be. So the beauty about this is wherever we are, come back and just bring your leg back to center, lower that left foot down to the mat. Beauty about these shapes is you don't have to be anywhere but where your body is, right? So if you're feeling tighter, just keep that left knee bent. Otherwise, you can straighten that left leg. And we're going to bring our right foot over to the left, but keep the right pelvis heavy, right? Both ends of the strap, if you have a strap, come into the left hand. If you don't have a strap, you can support the leg with your left hand. And then take your right thumb right into where the hip and the thigh meet, right into that little crease. And just gently guide the thigh away from you, right? And then you might turn your ankle on its side. So the sole of your foot is now, you're in this room facing the windows. If you're in your own room, it's facing the left side of your room. And just like you've been doing, meeting yourself where you are, meeting whatever's showing up in your body with an allowance and acceptance. Okay. Yeah. So that idea of understanding something we haven't before, really it's about that practice, the practice of noticing. Take another few breaths here. And if it's hard, see if you can come back to your breath or bring your breath into where you're feeling really challenged, right? Sometimes the challenge comes up in our body physically. Sometimes we might notice it in our breath. Sometimes it might stir stuff up in our mind. Just notice where the challenge surfaces. And then bring your leg back to center, lower it down, set the strap aside, extend your legs out long. You can take them a little bit wider. If it's comfortable to close your eyes, close your eyes. If it's more comfortable to gaze outward, you can do that. But just notice what's shifting in your body, in your breath, in your mind. All right, from here, make your way up to seated, and you can bring your knees in, roll to one side, come up to seated. If when you come up to seated, you feel like you're sinking or the hips are tight today, you can place a blanket under your seat. You might even fold it a little bit. This actually can help you to not only find more space and support for the hips, but over time it can help you, find that openness so that it's easier to sit without a blanket. Okay, we're going to extend the left leg out and we're going to bring the right foot into the thigh. And this is where you might want to block. If this knee is lifting, you can place a block under it. You can also place a block under your elbow, which is your left elbow is going to come either to your thigh or to a block. Okay, and you can place it higher. You can double up the blocks, whatever support you need. So we're going to just take our left elbow to the block, hand into a fist, and let your head rest into your left hand, your left fist. Okay, and then let the right step on, let it be heavy. So it almost feels like you're slouching. Okay, and then with your inhale, you're going to slowly sweep your right arm up alongside your ear. And with your exhale, you're going to slowly sweep the arm down and just let it come behind the back. We're going to do a couple more of these. Slow and steady inhale. Slow and steady exhale. Good. And then the next time the arm's up, we're going to keep it up. We're going to just bend at the elbow so the arm's kind of hanging. Okay? You can rest on your head. You can close your eyes or take your gaze downward toward the mat. And just feel the weight of your head sinking heavier into that left fist. And you might feel some sensation in the right side and the muscles that bind the hips to the ribs. Your breath can be easy, effortless. You just notice in this shape where you might be able to do a little less without losing the shape. And you might notice where the challenges show up for you. Right? It might be a tiredness in that arm. It might be antsiness and need to wiggle. It might be in the mind. All these ways that we kind of try to get out of this moment, right? Try to avoid. Maybe these habits are familiar, right? Outside of yoga. You can just, these last few breaths here, just get still. Stilling the body. And then inhale, sweep this top arm down. And just press into that elbow to come back up. Just pausing here. Your hands can rest on either thighs. Gaze can be down. Taking a breath. And we'll switch sides. So we'll extend the right leg out, bend the left knee. Again, you can place a block under that thigh. And you might find one side needs a block, one doesn't. Right elbow will come to the block or thigh, hand into a fist, head rests into that fist. Right, your right foot can be soft, passive. And then we'll inhale, sweep the left arm up alongside the ear. Exhale, sweep the arm down. Do that a few more times. Slow and steady, no rushing. Really just trying to pace your movement to your breath. And in this final one, we sweep the arm alongside the ear. You can let the elbow bend and just let that arm hang, right? Let the left sit bone get heavy. Let the eyes either gaze down toward the ground or close altogether. So if there's ever any pain, you want to back out of the shape. But if there's discomfort, use some discernment there. See if you can stay with what's uncomfortable. Often that's where we see what we've maybe been avoiding and gain some new awareness. And with your next exhale, just sweep that top arm down and press into that right elbow to come back up. Hand on either thigh, just gazing down for a breath, noticing. You may notice the body, the breath, any emotions, the mind. So we'll bend this right knee in. Take a very gentle twist there. So we're going to take the right hand to the left thigh, the left hand right behind you, not forcing. With your inhale, just see if you can get a little more length through your spine. With your exhale, a slight twist to the left. And then stay in the twist, but bring your head back to center and drop your right ear to your right shoulder. And then you might turn your chin toward that right shoulder. So you get into the side of the neck. There's a head tilt, right ear toward the shoulder, and a little turn. And then you can breathe into that side of the neck on the left side, not forcing anything. This is good for the lymphatic system. Get things moving. But it can also be an area where we hold a lot of tension. And it can even help our body relax a little deeper. Gently lift the head up. Just come back to center. And we'll take the second side. So we'll take the left hand to the right thigh, right hand behind. Get a little length in the spine. Exhale, little twist. And then bring your head back to center, just your head. Drop your left ear towards your left shoulder. And then a little turn, just a little turn, the chin toward the shoulder. It doesn't have to be far. And you can kind of explore a little bit where the tension is. And when you find it, just hang out there. Bring your breath into that space. Allow your belly to move with the breath here. And then gently lift your head, return back to center. So we're going to cross our shins, and these blocks might be helpful. We're going to walk ourselves forward into a forward fold here. Right? So you can let your head just rest. Some of you, your head might come to the ground, might come to the hands, and might grab a block. If you want another block, I'm happy to bring more. I will. And you can let your head rest on something. Invite your breath here into the lower back. The other thing you can do is grab your bolster, and you can use your bolster to hold you up too. Let me try that. And a block. Not enough. You can use your hands. That's the way. Done, Deborah, Debbie. That's fine. If you can just invite your breath, not an active breath, but invite it into the back body, especially the low back ribs, right where the kidneys are. This can help us move out of that adrenaline, sympathetic nervous system response. And into a state of relaxation. So notice if there's anywhere you can do less in your body. And sometimes that can be a challenge itself, right? We might have it in our head that we need to do more. And if that's the case, I really, it can be interesting to question that. All right, with your next breath, just start to walk your hands in, coming up. All right, and we're going to move into our setup for Nidra now. So my favorite, but you get to do what's right for your body. My favorite is a blanket under the head, a pillow under or bolster under the knees. These just get into the two vulnerable areas in our spine, the neck and the lower back. Okay. Other options, if you don't need anything under your head, you don't want it, you can also place your blanket on your belly, create a little more groundedness. You can place your blanket over you. Your body temperature will tend to drop as you become more relaxed. And I'm happy to bring extra props. I'm going to turn down the lights a little bit for you guys. But just take this next minute at home and here to get more comfortable. And I didn't ask like I usually do at the beginning of class, so I'll ask now, and you can just put a hand up. Is anyone new to Nidra? Yeah, okay. I'm gonna talk a little bit about it as you guys get set up here. So Nidra, and really tonight we'll be doing more of a deep relaxation practice. Nidra is a technique. It's a deeply relaxing state. It's similar to sleep and different. And it's really, they say it's a practice to wake up to our lives. It's sometimes described as a meditation, but the purpose is a little different. The technique is a little different. It's, I will say that there's nothing you need to know that you didn't walk in here knowing. So you don't have to be a meditator or a Nidra practitioner to do it. And I'm just going to guide you into this practice, into your body, and you can just listen to my voice. So there's nothing you have to do. You don't have to tense anything. You don't have to move anything. You might fall asleep. That's okay. They say that the part of your brain that is affected by Nidra is still listening. It still has an impact. And I know you all set up in a comfortable way, but if you find at any point that you need to adjust, allow yourself to adjust in any way. If you find at any point that you need to step out of the room for whatever reason, you can. If something uncomfortable comes up, a memory or something, you can always open your eyes. But for the most part, it's a relaxing practice when we begin. So just begin by welcoming yourself right now as you're arriving in this moment. So whatever thoughts are showing up, whatever feelings are showing up, whatever sensations in the body are showing up, just allowing them space to be here. And just notice if there's anywhere you want to adjust a little bit to be a little more comfortable. And if it's comfortable, close your eyes. If it's not comfortable, you can rest your gaze on the ceiling. We're just going to begin with a breath tonight. So the breath is like this. You'll begin your exhale out the mouth like you're exhaling out a straw. So you purse your lips. And for the first like 80% of the exhale, you'll exhale out the mouth through this imaginary straw. And the last 20% of the exhale, you'll exhale out the nose. And then you'll return to a breath in and out the nose for a few rounds. We'll do that 3 times. So just right now, breathing in and out the nose. And then with your next exhale, like you're exhaling out a straw through pursed lips for the first 80%. And then the last part out the nose. And then inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose. And then we'll do that again. The next exhale, out pursed lips like you're exhaling out a straw for the first 80%. The last part of that exhale out the nose. And then inhale through the nose, exhale out the nose. Inhale through the nose, exhale out the nose. And then we'll do that breath one more time. So the next exhale, out pursed lips like you're exhaling out a straw. And the last part of that exhale out the nose. And then inhale through the nose, exhale out the nose. And just allow your breath here to become effortless, in and out the nose. Allow in all of the sounds in and outside the room. And just allow your attention to move from sound to sound without naming them, without judging them. And see if you can pick out the furthest away sound. And then the closer in sounds, the sounds just in this room. And then the closest in sound, the sound of your breath. Letting the breath be effortless, not changing it. Maybe hearing that sound with your ears, or maybe listening with the whole body. And then you're going to place that breath, just one breath, in each of the body parts as I name them. So, no doing, just sensing your breath as you sense the part of the body. So, beginning at your forehead, feeling, sensing your forehead, and a breath at the forehead, the eyes, a breath at the eyes, the cheeks and jaw, a breath at the cheeks and jaw, the throat, the shoulders, breath at the shoulders, the upper arms, the elbows, a breath at the elbows, the lower arms, wrists, hands, tips of the fingers. The next 3 exhales out the tips of the fingers. A breath at the heart center, the belly, a breath at the hips, the pelvis, the upper legs, the knees, the shins, calves, the ankles, the feet. The next 3 exhales out the tips of the toes. And just feeling the whole body breathing. Breath is effortless. Body is resting. And call to mind somewhere, a time in your life where you felt completely at ease. It can be a real place, it can be imagined. A place you felt completely supported and easeful. And just make that place vivid. remembering sounds, images, smells, how it felt to be in this place. And then let that image, that place go, but know that you can return to it at any time just by calling it back into your mind, the sacred abode. Begin to count your exhales down, starting at the number 54. Each exhale, counting down. If you lose your count, begin again at 54 as many times as you need. And then let the count go. The body is at rest. The mind can rest. But a part of you is aware. Visualize the night sky filled with starlight. And then see, sense, or feel a point of starlight right between the eyebrows, just beneath the surface of the skin. Soften and let this light reveal itself. Center of the throat, point of starlight. Heart center, starlight. Navel center. Center of the pelvis, starlight. The tail, tip of the tail, starlight. Starlight at the pelvis. And starlight at the navel center. Starlight at the heart. Starlight at the throat. The point between the brows, starlight. Just seeing this constellation of light in the body, as spacious, as vast as the night sky. Feel your breath again. Just watching the breath, the rising and falling, the belly or the ribs. Letting your breath remind you of your body, letting it guide you back to the sensations of your body. You might invite in the sounds of the room and just outside, letting them anchor you back in this space. And when you feel ready, you might begin to make some small movements, wiggling the fingers, the toes. Take your time. When you are ready, you'll roll to one side and just rest on your side. Just resting on your side and reflecting back on your own experience, any wisdom, clarity that came through. And you might come back to this question that we started with of maybe somewhere in your life where you need to understand something that you haven't understood. Just asking that question. What do you need to understand? As you're ready, you can make your way to seated, but don't rush. Don't feel like you need to get there. You can stay longer so you have the option. Just end however you're ending. You can close your eyes and just bring a hand to your heart. This gesture of offering your own care, your own curiosity, your own tending to your own heart, to the wisdom that is within you. You can bow your head in to all that is within you. Namaste. You're welcome. So take your time, take your time. This can be a deep practice. You can go deep places. So let yourself take time to come back into this space and move. If you have questions, I'll be floating around. If you're online and have questions, please put them in the chat box. I won't be here next week, but I'll be back the week after. Just a little programming note, but there will be a sub. I think it's Marco. I'm sure she'll be fabulous. But yeah, I'll be around. I'll be moving around as I put props away. So if you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask